Hi boys and girls, welcome back to Social Studies. We've been talking a lot about community helpers this week, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about some different types of communities that there are, and specifically learn 3 new words to describe a community. So I'm going to show you some pictures and explain how these 3 words describe 3 different types of communities. And while I do that, I'd like for you to think about Randolph as I am showing you pictures and explaining, and I want you to think what type of community Randolph is. So the 3 types of communities are urban, suburban, and rural. Urban, suburban, and rural. So I'm going to show you an urban community first. I'm going to show you lots of pictures on my computer here, so hopefully you can see. Okay, so this first picture here, you see lots of tall buildings. It looks like a city, very, the buildings are all very close to one another, a little bit crowded. Okay, here's our next picture. Once again, you see lots of buildings and lots of cars, very busy roads. Okay, you can see some shops here and buildings in the background, just buildings everywhere. Okay, and our last picture of an urban community. This is what the daytime might look like, where people are walking around, lots and lots of people. Okay, tall buildings, lots of lights. So an urban community is very similar, or is a city. Okay, you might have been to New York City before, and it might be also the communities that are nearby big cities, because the cities that are nearby big cities, or the communities that are nearby, are probably very similar. Lots of buildings, things very close to one another, busy roads, lots of people walking around. So that would be an urban community. The next community I want to show you is a suburban community. Okay? Remember, you're thinking, which one looks like Randolph? Okay, so here's my first picture here. So you can see houses, some lawns, I see some roads. Okay, next picture looks like a neighborhood where the houses are close to each other, but not as close as in the urban communities. Okay, I wanted to show you what the stores in a suburban community might look like. So sometimes there's stores connected to one another like this, or they might be stores that are separate from one another, but the buildings aren't really, really tall like an urban community. And as you can see, there's not a ton of people walking around or driving around in a suburban community. It's less crowded than an urban community. Okay, so suburban, urban, and then we have one more called rural. And rural is similar to like a farm. If you think of what farmlands might look like, that would be a rural community. So we have a picture here where there's a barn, lots and lots of land. This is a drawing of a rural community. You can see a couple houses, but there's definitely a lot of space between them. And this road is like a long, windy road. There's no stores really around. And this one here, quite a few more houses and places where people live, but still a lot of space between them. And if you were to look really close, it looks like there's some farms back here. Okay, and in this community, there's probably no ShopRite or Target right around the corner. You definitely would have to drive a good amount of distance to get to a store like that, because everything is very spread out, and typically it's a good area for farming and lots of farm animals. As you drive along these roads, you would see them on the side of the road. So that is a rural community. So we have urban, where it's very crowded, lots of tall buildings, busy roads, busy sidewalks. Then we have suburban, where there's a bit more space between houses and apartments, not as busy sidewalks and roads, and Lastly, we had the rural communities where you have lots of space between houses and not too many stores nearby. All right, so boys and girls, for your task today, you are going to watch a video called Types of Communities. So mom and dad can go to the lesson plans and click on the link for the YouTube video, Types of Communities, and that'll just help you understand rural, suburban, and urban communities a little bit more. And then what you're going to do is you're going to decide what type of community is Randolph. I want you to think about it and tell why you chose that Randolph is either rural, suburban, or urban. Make a list of why you think it is that type of community, and then you can take a seesaw or make a video of yourself to explain your thoughts and reasoning. All right, boys and girls, have fun, and I will see you tomorrow.